What is up, Packers fans? Happy Victory Sunday. Welcome into our live post-game show here on the Pack a Day podcast. I'm your host, Andy Herman. You can follow me on Twitter at Andy Herman NFL. Talk about a difference between the first half and the second half of this game. A pretty abysmal performance in the first half in all phases. And Matt LaFleur went into the locker room at halftime and said, just do the opposite in the second half. And they listened, and it was pretty much perfect in the second half. What a comeback win. Love bests Aaron Rodgers in one of his best games of his career. We've got a lot to get into. We've got a lot to talk about. I'll try to get to as many of your questions as I can through this post-game show. Should have about an hour or so. Do have still a full post-game show to do for tomorrow as well. So going to try to get out of here at a decent time. I should mention we are presented today by Luiges Pizza. That Luiges Pizza is going to taste so sweet. That Victory Pizza on Monday. Not sure if I'm going breakfast pizza in the morning, thin crust at lunch, or the Big Daddy for dinner. I might do all three tomorrow based on how I'm feeling right now. But a huge thank you to Luiges for sponsoring us. Give them a shout out. Go follow them on social media at Luiges Pizza. Had a great time on the half show. I wish it was a better performance at halftime that we could have talked about, but on their social media page. So make sure to follow that. We're going to be doing that live at halftime of away games. And just follow them, of course, over at luigespizza.com as well. Huge shout out to them. We've got so much to get into. I just can't say enough about a few different things. Number one, the performance of Jordan Love. He was just phenomenal in this game. Even in the first half, when everything was going wrong, we talked about on that halftime show of just how impressive he was. Had it not been for a couple drops early in that first half, his stat line would have looked even better. It just looked like no matter what he wanted to do, he could get the job done. He could do just about everything he wanted to in that game. I know that Steelers defense has been much maligned, but he was absolutely on one in 20 consecutive completions at one point in time. Just an absolute heater. That's the Jordan Love you love to see. And that was a ton of fun to witness, of course, against his mentor as well. Also, Christian Watson. I was expecting 10 to 15. I don't know what he ended up with. It felt closer to 30, maybe low 30s, maybe high 20s, maybe even a little bit more than that. But to come out and look like he was prime Christian Watson, like he hadn't missed a day, like how the hell is that possible? And not only that, not only the catches and what he did there, but the blocking on the outside. If that wasn't a stark reminder of how important Christian Watson is to this team, it should have been pretty eye-opening. He was fantastic in that game. And then Rashawn Gary, really big performance from him as well. I think that's worth noting. And then the other one I want to give a shout out to as well is Emmanuel Wilson. I don't know what the final stat line was here. In fact, let me just check it right now. He was 11 for 61 on a day where they couldn't get anything. Josh Jacobs had 13 for 33 in this game. Now, Wilson was the benefactor of some better blocking late in the game for sure, but 11 for 61 on the ground and then 3 for 26 through the air. He had 14 touches for 87 yards in this game when it was really tough sledding to get anything going on the ground. I thought he was noteworthy in his performance. And then, National Tucker Craft Day. Tucker freaking Kraft, 7 for 143 and 2 touchdowns. He did drop that pass though, so we're not going to really talk about him too much. No, I mean, what an absolute stud of a player in Tucker Kraft. Some big time performances in this one. Green Bay puts up 35. They finally win without putting up exactly 27 points in this game. Should have been at least 38 if McManus hits that field goal before half. Could have been 41 if he hits both of those field goals. So unbelievable performance overall. Great bounce back in the second half. Yes, would have been great if we saw a full 4-quarter and we saw a better first half. But listen, this is a 4-quarter game. You don't know when the spikes are going to come, when the lulls are going to come. And all you can do is play through the entirety of it. And at the end of the day, a 35-25 win over Pittsburgh on the road. What idiot would pick against the Packers in this game? Just a beautiful performance in totality, even if the first half isn't what we wanted to see. And just a huge bounce back in the second half. So kudos to Green Bay. and now they get Carolina at home next week in Green Bay before a couple of tough games right after that. So going to be a fun stretch here, but a big time victory Monday, well deserved for the Packers tomorrow. I'm going to try to get to as many questions as I can. As I mentioned, thank you to the 1,000+ people who are already here in chat. I will get to super chats as our primary chat today, and then we'll kind of go from there. So if you want to get those chats in, you're going to want to make sure to try to do so through super chat first, and then we'll get to as many as we can after that. John, thank you so much for that super chat. Really appreciate that a ton. So Bisaccia is our special teams coordinator tomorrow, right? I will say this. If you really want to pick on, I know Keyshawn had a really, really, really rough game in the first half. I thought he bounced back much better in the second half, so kudos to him for that. But that was a really tough first half performance from him. The special teams was brutal in this one. Again, thankfully, they had the 2 made field goals. Those were pretty easy ones in the second half. Thankfully, they had Romeo Doubs return punts. It wasn't anything dynamic, but he caught the ball at least and got some positive yardage. And then, they recovered the onside kick. At least that's something. But I thought, penalties, muff punts, not knowing at this stage of the game who your punt returner is, some kick return holding penalties, just far too many mistakes. If you really want to be, frustrated about something, I think it's very fair to be frustrated with the special teams performance still. And if it was a one-off, it'd be fine, right? But we're on decades of poor special teams performances. So it's easy to pick on, but this is a legitimate one that you can be frustrated. Not a ton to be frustrated with at the end of this game, but I think special teams still one of those that you can be disappointed in at least. Go Pack Go 8. Thank you for the super chat. Some stuff to clean up, but how about the clutch play this team has been, or how clutch this team has been when it matters most? Wish I lived in a place where I could get a Luiges Pizza. Go Pack Go. It's all right. I understand that not everyone's in that area. We just got to get Luigi's to get everywhere nationwide, right? So Luigi's, if you're listening, got to get nationwide. But no, awesome performance in the clutch from this team. And I like to, when they had the chance to get the kill, they got in the end zone, went for the kill. They weren't super conservative. The final drive, even on that final, field goal drive, they tried to go play action and get one more touchdown at the end there, even to seal it a little bit more. Would have loved if they would have been able to hold the Steelers out of the end zone and hold them under 20 points. But outside of that, everything in the second half that you really wanted to see from this team, they came out and did. And yes, an absolute clutch performance from the Packers in this one. Is Kraft the best tight end in the NFL? Go Pack Go. John, I don't know if he's the best tight end in the NFL. I'm sure there's some arguments to be made for George Kittle or Trey McBride amongst maybe a couple others. I don't think there's another tight end I'd want on this team more than Tucker Kraft. I'll just put it that way. I love his mentality. I love the way he plays. I love his leadership style. He's just a psycho in all the best possible ways. He is a Green Bay Packer through and through. You love having him on the team. A vintage performance today, one that I think we'll remember for a while. And outside of, again, one drop, a near perfect performance from Tucker Kraft. And it just felt like anytime you put the ball in his vicinity, good things happen. And the run after the catch ability is just, this game, if you want to be a great team, has to be made up of special traits, special players who can do special things in special moments. And Tucker Kraft's run after the catch ability is a special superpower for this team. Just when the ball is in his hands, good things happen every single time. He's so tough to get to the ground, to the point where on that screenplay where he got tackled relatively quick, it was like, you're allowed to do that? I didn't think you were allowed to do that. I didn't think you could get Tucker Kraft to the ground with any relative quickness. And so, yeah, it's a true legitimate superpower that he has. And again, good things happen when you put the ball anywhere near him, even on that jump ball play where Jordan gave him the chance. He came up with it. And then, of course, ran forever after that play as well. Unbelievable performance from Tucker in this one. Reno Cello, thank you again for the super chat. Come on, Bisaccia is what you want to talk about after this game. Jordan is the man. Mike and Rashawn are awesome. Let's go. I think the question about Bisaccia was in before, right around halftime. It was at 8:57 p.m. So the question came in at halftime, to be fair to the question asker. And to be fair to me, I'm just answering the question. So that's why that question was there. But no, that did not come in after the game. That was a question that came in around halftime, just to be fair to that question. Next time in visiting family in Wisconsin, I promise I'll get a Luiges Pizza. Love you, Andy, and Go Pack Go. You're all good, my friend. Go Pack Go, and thanks for being here. Brandon, how you going to wear the black and yellow hat on Give All Days? No shade, Black Clover hats are A1. Hold on, I'll switch it up for you. 1 second. All right, my bad. Switched it up, got the pack. I actually totally forgot that I switched this. So the other one's just way more comfortable, is the truth. So I like this Packers hat a lot. It's my favorite Packers hat that I've ever had. I like the little state of Wisconsin on the side. I like the simple G on the gray. So I do like this hat a lot, but it's very uncomfortable. So that's why I switched it. But it's back on. That's my bad, Brandon. Appreciate you. Liam, Luigi's halftime show truly made the difference. Clearly, that's what did it. Anything with Luigi's ends up being good, including a halftime show. It was the halftime Luigi's pep talk that everyone needed, and got everything going on the right foot. No question about it. Alex, dream of the day when 9-0, 87, 85, and 11 all play. Yeah, we got to see a little bit of a glimpse of that. It still feels like there's a lot more there for Matthew Golden. You saw that play at the end where he came open. And I don't know if it's just a rhythm and timing thing from Jordan and Matthew of just kind of getting on the same page just a little bit more, but it feels like there's still a little bit more out there for him. But we saw Watson today. Obviously Tucker Kraft was amazing. I think Jaden Reed gets back involved in this offense, and you're going to see this offense really cook with gas. I still think the run blocking needs to get better. Thankfully, towards the end of this game, it was a little bit better as the kind of game went on. But I still need to see them be a lot better in the first half. And to be fair, Matt needs to be far less predictable as well. I understand. I really do. That I'll have to go back and watch the tape to know if this is true. And I'm assuming Pittsburgh was giving a lot of, too high shell looks, and that they're like, we got to be able to run in these scenarios. There's a truth to that. But if the other team knows you're going to do it and you continue to do it over and over and over, you're not doing yourself any favors there either. And I get some of it is play sequencing, and you're setting up some of those play action plays for later. So you need to show some of those looks. They still have to be viable plays. There has to be a little bit more of a wrinkle off of it. There's got to be, and just if you're going to run with those, they've got to pick you up more yards. And yes, the run blocking needs to get better so that you can pick up yards on those play calls, but they just felt far too predictable, far too often. And on a day where Jordan Love was on an absolute heater, there were just far too many of them. So I think Matt needs to do a better job there too. It still feels to me, by the way, like they haven't found the perfect way to gel. And this is going to sound crazy. I understand this is going to sound a little bit crazy. It feels like they still haven't figured out the perfect way to gel Brandon Jacobs in the Matt LaFleur offense. It feels like Jacobs likes to run a specific, I think he likes the shotgun runs, and I think he likes to run a specific way. And I think a lot of the stuff, the pin pull stuff and the stuff that they did with Aaron Jones that worked really well, the stretch play stuff, it doesn't seem like Jacobs likes a lot of that stuff quite as much and doesn't want to run that stuff maybe quite as much. So it does still feel like there's a part of the Josh Jacobs offense that doesn't fit seamlessly within the Matt LaFleur offense. I don't know that I can define that perfectly. It just feels a little bit off. And even in this game, when Emmanuel Wilson got in, everything kind of seemed to flow a little bit better. That's not an indictment in any way, shape, or form on Josh Jacobs, who I think has been phenomenal this year. And I think in some individual moments has made some really special things happen, including on that touchdown run today. But it just feels like there's a little bit of a disconnect between the Jacobs running style and what Matt likes to run in his run offense. So I don't know if they can get that a little bit closer and figure out a little bit more, but it was far too predictable at times today, and it just needs to kind of be better moving forward. But outside of that, again, I love the way that this offense played in the second half. They were dynamic. They were just fun to watch, and pretty much anything they wanted to do, they were able to do, which is always a very fun thing. Okay, one more. My piss is hot, and it's not how you start, it's how you finish. Also, let's go Kraft and let's go Love. So proud of this team's resilience. I do think it's really worth pointing out how good this team has been in the second half of games, and when they've and had to have it moments on both offense and on defense. In the clutch and in those big time moments, big time players have stepped up. And I thought this game was a great example of that. They completely outplayed Pittsburgh in every phase in the second half. And every time there was a have to have it moment, they figured out a way to make that happen. And that starts with Jordan Love and his clutch playmaking ability and some of those third and fourth downs and big plays. He was just money after money after money, including the first half when there were some drops as well. But I thought those clutch scenarios have been really there for Green Bay. You can point to the Browns game, even where they should have kicked the game-winning field goal at the end. They got them down into scoring range. The Cowboys game, the million clutch plays that they had to have, even just to tie that before the half. Yes, you would have liked to see them get in the end zone in overtime, or before overtime, I should say. Yes, you would have liked to see them win that in overtime. But I mean, this team has been clutch every step of the way. And again, they proved that once again in this particular game. Do we have an actual kicker controversy after tonight? I don't think so, John. I'd still be pretty surprised if that's the direction that they ultimately went in this one. I think Brandon McManus is still their kicker. So I'd be pretty stunned if that ended up being the case. We'll see what they do at kicker this week, but it maybe, if anything, it was bringing McManus back 1 week too early, and maybe Haversick should have been allowed to kick in this game as well. I don't know. We'll see, but I would still lie on the side of I'd be pretty stunned if there's any legitimate conversation from the Packers higher ups on this one of which way to go at kicker. But we'll see. We'll see what they decide to do. The team could be legit 7-0. It feels like they only play half of each game. Luiges Pizza and Kraft mac and cheese for everyone. Go Pack, go. I think there should be a lot to be excited about with where Green Bay is at right now. And the reason I say that is they could be 7-0. And they haven't. I think Detroit was a pretty damn close, complete game, right? But they haven't put together consistently complete games yet. And they're still coming out on top and still finding ways to win. And they're still playing some pretty damn good football mixed in some of the, with those lulls mixed in a little bit. I think this team still has a long way to grow. I think they can get a lot better still, which is a pretty scary thing to kind of think about. And it just feels like, listen, complete games in the NFL are really, really difficult to come by, especially against good teams. Like Pittsburgh, I don't think Pittsburgh's that great. I think they're a good team. I think they're an okay team. I think there's a reason why a couple weeks ago when they had one loss and Baltimore had 5, people were still picking Baltimore to win that division. We'll see where that ends up after Baltimore gets the win against Chicago today, sans Lamar Jackson, and Green Bay beats Pittsburgh. I think they're going to be a fringe playoff team, but they're still a good team, and especially a good team in Pittsburgh. Green Bay goes in there, gets the win. Their first win since 1970, by the way, with Bart Starr at quarterback. And, you'll take a 10-point victory there every single time. But there's still a lot out there for this team to play better than they did. I mean, even just making some field goals, not dropping some passes, just cutting out some of their own mistakes, I think goes a long way in just playing a better brand of football overall. But tough to be, again, too disappointed with a 10-point win on the road in Pittsburgh against a pretty good Pittsburgh team. 1970 history in front of our eyes. Absolutely. It's crazy that, I mean, I'm pretty old and that the Packers haven't beat Pittsburgh in my lifetime until tonight. I get that they're in different conferences and they don't play each other a lot, but it still feels crazy. So good to get that one off the checklist and get a win in Pittsburgh tonight. What I love about this team is that they faced down a disaster. They didn't give up, kept fighting, opened the run game, tightened the D. They're absolute warriors. Fenrir, I like the comment here. And, it was last week. Last week, it felt like in Arizona, the field goal right before halftime gave them that little bit of a boost, right? And then they came out in the second half and played much better. This one felt like everything once again was going wrong in the first half. And then you missed that field goal right before halftime. I was thinking when they got in field goal range, I'm like, I bet that field goal serves as that boost again before halftime. And then they have a very similar second half, compared to last week. And it was even better in the second half this week, despite missing that field goal right before half. But I was with you. It just gets really hard when you're down, 2 scores in the NFL in the second half and the other team gets the ball first to start the second half. I talked about it on the halftime show. You just become very predictable in those situations. I actually give Matt a lot of credit. I know people were probably frustrated at the time, but opening up with some runs early on in the second half, understanding that there was still a lot of ball game left and that they were only down by 12 points at that point in time. I thought that was a very important thing to do because it's very easy for defenses to just stay in those, too high safety looks and, play a lot of coverage and rush the passer a lot. And if you're not willing to be patient and go on a drive, it makes it really tough. And in the past, to give Matt credit here, in the past, Matt, it always seemed like when Matt was down more than one score, that he wanted to try to score like 20 points on one play. And it's just like, you can't do that. You have to be able to be patient. And I thought that first drive when they got the ball in the second half, I think they were backed up again too. They go on a long drive, they score the touchdown, they get right back in the game. And I thought that was really the difference maker in this game, of the defense getting the ball back, the offense going down and scoring right away. Of course, they get the turnover in the second half too. Just a very, very well-rounded performance. Would you like to have seen that a little bit earlier? Yes. But at the same time, when your back's against the wall on the road, tough team, tough opponent, down by 12, just missed a field goal before half. Other team gets the ball first. You come out and play a near perfect performance the rest of the game and come out with a really big win. So kudos to everyone there. Ethan, thank you for the super chat. Stat line versus actually watching the game. We looked amazing at times, but only played good like 60% of the time. Win is a win. Go Pack Go. Ethan, I don't disagree with you, but I also think you do have to remind yourself sometimes that this is the NFL. You know, you're not going to get these 60, 70 point performances. The other team does get paid too, and they are going to find ways to stop you at certain points. It's just it's always this interesting dynamic, right? Because, you know, in this game, if instead of going, what was the play-by-play here? So they go punt, touchdown, miss field goal, punt, miss field goal. And then the second half, they go touchdown, 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 field goal, and then basically kneel down at the end of the game, right? If everything is just mixed in, where it's like touchdown, miss field goal, touchdown, punt, you know, field goal, punt, field goal, whatever, like if it just gets mixed throughout the game, it probably feels a lot better. It feels a lot different, right? Like they were a little bit more consistent through the course of the game. At the end of the day, you get X amount of drives. In this game, they got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 real drives, not including the final one where they end up just kneeling it down. They had 11 real drives in this game. They had 1, 2, 3, 4 touchdowns, and then 1, 2 field goals, 2 missed field goals, and 1 punt, something like that. So yeah, whatever it is, I think if you just like even that out through the course of the game, it probably feels a lot more consistent. Oh yeah, they were a consistent team throughout the game. When you only put up 7 in the first half and then go nuclear in the second half, it feels like, what the were you doing in the first half? But you know, none of these games follow a perfect script. They're all going to be a little bit unique in their own way. And in this one, Steelers defense was up to the task in the first half. Green Bay shot themselves in the foot on a few different occasions in a few different ways. And in the second half, it was the exact opposite. Pittsburgh's defense looked nothing like they did in the first half. And Green Bay's offense stopped shooting themselves in the foot and went out and played a near perfect second half. And so at the end of the day, you put up 35 in the NFL, I'll take that every single time. I will sign the contract right now. Sign me up for 35 points every single game, regardless of how you get there. I'd love to see Golden and Watson continue to get big opportunities to make plays down the field in big moments going forward. Yeah, I think, you know, one of the ways that you need to be able to do that is by having a lead and by being able to run the football. And when you're running the football, you get that safety playing down in the box. And now you've got some one-on-ones on the outside. The more that you're down by and the more predictable that you are as a passing attack, the more they're keeping those 2 high safeties and the harder you're just thrown into double coverage. Basically, anytime you're taking those shots down the field in those situations, or at least at minimum, it's really difficult to get positive looks when they're playing in that sort of coverage. So you have to kind of earn your way there. You have to earn your way into getting those looks. And when you're down by 12, and when they're playing a lot of 2 high safety, again, I don't know that for a fact. I'm assuming they were. I have to go back and watch the tape, but it's really difficult to get those looks down the field. So I'm with you. I want to see more opportunities down the field to Golden and Watson. Just know that every team in the NFL goes into the game defensively saying job 1A is to probably get turnovers, but job, 1B is to not allow explosive plays. Like, we're not going to allow big plays down the field. And so I just think you've got to sort of earn the opportunity to take those shots. And it's why in some of those 3rd and short, 4th and short situations, you can get some of those advantageous looks. And sometimes that's the best time to take those shots down the field. So in this game, you don't really earn some of those opportunities to take some of those shots down the field. Thankfully, they still found a deep one to Christian Watson in the second half in this game, but it's tough to do so when you're playing from behind, playing catch up, and the other team has made you a little bit more predictable. Steve, this is the most satisfying win, in my opinion, in a long time. I would say that the Lions game was still a little bit more satisfying. That felt a little bit more complete to me. And it was the first game at home, Micah Parsons, that just the energy in that game was amazing. But this was a very satisfying win, especially the way they came back in the second half. So if you want to put this as one, I'm not going to argue with you, but I would probably put that Lions game just a little bit higher this season in my book. Wow, just wow. My 90-year-old dad brought me to your channel. Steelers were his AFC team. New Glarus and Luigi's feel this unexpected and fun win. Steve, glad that your dad was able to show the channel to you. Yeah, and I know actually some people as well that have kind of the Steelers as their AFC team. I'm not sure why the connection there or what that is, but I guess it just is what it is. But Steve, thank you for being here. Thank you for the super chat. Glad you enjoy the channel. And yes, a very fun Luigi's and New Glarus fueled victory, to say the least. JN Custer, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that, my friend. Seems like when you're wrong, it works out for you. Yeah. It does. The funny thing is if at halftime I was feeling pretty, I'm like, oh yeah, like that prediction looks pretty good at the moment. And the very funny thing is, if they would have lost this game, I swear on my life, I would have never brought up once of like, hey, remember I predicted that one, because nobody freaking cares. Nobody cares if I get like, again, I don't know what's, I think they're going to beat the Panthers next week. You probably think they're going to beat the Panthers next week. Like we all, as far as prognosticating goes, I'll tell you right now, not going to be my number one forte ever. But I'm very happy I was wrong in this one. I'm happy I was wrong about Micah Parsons as well. So, and I'm also, you'll be the first to know, I am never ashamed to be wrong. When you get into this, you're going to have some really good takes. You're going to have some really bad takes. I feel like, the overall ledger is well on my side on stuff, but, very, very happy to be wrong on this one today. And we'll happily, eat the L and take the loss on that one. What a time for Love to show out. Are you kidding? He was spectacular. I just really, really hope. I'm maybe I'm being naive here. I just really, really hope that those Packers fans that are still trying to stick to their priors, that it was the wrong idea to go to Jordan Love, or that he can never be a good quarterback, or that whatever that thing is, whatever it is that they're holding on to, that Love isn't who they like the Packers should have, being quarterback of this team, or that he's whatever that is, whatever that thing is that they have. I hope they can get over it and just really enjoy how good of a quarterback that this guy is. He is playing out of his mind so far this year. I mean, he didn't put a single ball in harm's way in this game. Every single time the team needed to play, he made it. He went out on the world's Sunday Night Football stage in the big matchup of the year, Aaron Rodgers versus Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers, and he went out and had one of his best games of his career. I mean, just an unreal performance, an absolute heater, 20 completions in a row. It looks even better if not for a couple drops in this game. He's outstanding. He's an outstanding quarterback. The Packers are lucky to have him. The contract was more than worth it. The first round pick in the trade up was more than worth it. Trading away Aaron Rodgers was more than worth it. I don't know what that's going to amount to. I don't know if that ends up being a Super Bowl for Green Bay. I don't know if that ends up with him ever winning an MVP or anything like that. But damn it, do I love watching him play football. And damn it, is he an awesome starting quarterback for this team. And there are very few that I would take over him to be quarterbacking this team right now. So he's a special, special player. And I hope that everyone now really, truly appreciates and recognizes just how good this guy is and how good he's been so far this season and how good he's been so far in his starting career in the NFL. It's really remarkable. He deserves his flowers. He deserves every accolade you could give him right now. And just, again, really hope everyone can kind of appreciate that. And if you can't, find something else to do. Packers football is not your thing. Cheesehead Fanatic 14 loves best game since the Cowboys playoff game. I totally agree. I'm right there with you. There are times where I get my grading notebook out and I'm like, oh, here we go. I am so excited. And sometimes I debate, am I going to grade the offense first or the defense first? Oh, you bet your sweet ass. I'm grading offense first in this one. And yes, very much going offense heavy as soon as I can get to the grades on this one. I'm very excited to do so. All right. Where did that go? All right, here we go. Jeremy, no injuries in the only game so far. LFG. We did see Rasheed Walker go out at the very end of the game. He walked off on his own power. He seemed mostly fine. Zach Tom went out. He did come back in. For those of you who might have missed that, Zach Tom did come back in the game. But Rasheed Walker did leave. He did not come back. I'm also slightly concerned about Josh Jacobs not kind of returning. Now, Emmanuel Wilson was running well, and Green Bay was up at that point, so they didn't really need Jacobs to come back in. But he didn't finish the game, which is just a little bit odd. So just something I'm slightly monitoring in this one. I'm hoping it's nothing. Again, I'm hoping they just went with the hot hand at the end of the game. But we do know Rasheed Walker did go out at the end. We'll obviously monitor injuries through the course of this week. Horrible play calls all first half. 25 was a steaming pile and 17 needed another week. Love was a sniper. 9 was impressive. And Tuck is the king of yak. You were amazing at eating crow, buddy. Love ya. The first half play calling was not good enough. I will totally agree with that. I don't think, once again, I don't think it was quite as bad as people may seem. I think if they just convert a couple of those third downs where like Romeo had his hands on the ball and where Tucker had his hands on the ball, I think the offense looks much better in the first half. I think even if they make the 2 field goals, the offense feels a little bit better in the first half. That's not absolving everything. I thought some of those run calls were pretty brutal in this one and far too predictable, which we talked about already. But yeah, I don't think it was, again, quite as bad as people are thinking that it was, even though it still wasn't good. Look at who's coming through. Kipperoni gifting 10 Pack-A-Day podcast memberships. Kipperoni, that is awesome. Thank you so much for doing that. And congratulations to the 10 new people of the 1,913 people that we have here in chat for getting brand new memberships. That's awesome. Also, if you haven't checked out memberships yet, what are you waiting for? Super simple to sign up. Members only Q&A every week. Aaron Nagler and I do an episode for members every single week. So it's a great time to sign up. And yeah, can't recommend it enough. Some super cheap options out there as well. I'd like your opinion on Rodgers' no fumble. Yeah, definitely not a fumble. I thought it was a very heads up play by Aaron Rodgers to spike it into the ground. We have to have some common sense intentional grounding rules in this league. If the running back is blocking and the quarterback is on the dirt and throws it at the running, like spikes it at the running back's feet in front of him, there was clearly no intention of trying to complete a pass to that player. Like there needs to be a common sense approach to intentional grounding. Even the ones where they're like, there's like a running back on a screen and if it's a screen and it's blown up and you throw it at their feet, maybe I get it a little bit more. But if you're pressured and you just throw it in the dirt towards someone, or there just has to be a common sense ability to kind of know clearly that was an intentional grounding. He was not trying to do anything other than get out of a sack on that play. He's in the pocket. He's dead to rights. There's nowhere to go. He's not trying to complete the pass. That's intentional grounding. I don't care that the running back was there. He's engaged in a block and he threw it he spiked it at his feet. So by the letter of the law, probably not an intentional grounding penalty, but it was definitely not a fumble. He definitely spiked it. But definitely should be, by the intention of the game and the rules of the game, an intentional grounding, even if not technically by the letter of the law. I think it's technically ruled correctly in that situation. I think it's technically a super heads up play by Aaron Rodgers. I just think that's clearly cheating what you're supposed to do in that type of situation. That's got to be an intentional grounding by all common sense approach. What did you think of Golden targets and touchdown? Golden didn't have a touchdown. I was confused for a second. Yeah, I talked about this a little bit earlier. So Golden ends with 3 catches for 4 yards. Not exactly where you want Matthew Golden to be in this game. I'm going to start by saying this. Jordan Love had 360 yards of passing. I honestly don't give 2 craps that 143 went to Kraft, 85 went to Watson, 44 to Dobbs, 29 to Heath, 26 to Wilson, 12 to Jacobs, 8 to Williams, 5 to Musgrave, 4 to Fitzpatrick, and 4 to Matthew Golden. I really don't care how those yards are. When you've got 35 points and 360 yards of passing offense, there's enough to go around for everyone. And whoever ends up the major benefactor of that, so be it. I think in general, there's, as we talked about earlier, there's still a lot more there for Matthew Golden in this offense. And I think they need to find a way to get him going a little bit more. He's far too talented and far too important of a player to have 3 catches for 4 yards in a game. So I think that'll come with time. I think he's still very young. I'm not concerned about anything at the moment. I just think they need to find a little bit better rhythm, timing, and way to get him involved a little bit more consistently. But on a day where you have 35 points and again, 360 yards, was it? Yeah, 360 yards of receiving and 454 yards of total offense. I'm really not overly concerned that Golden just ended up with 4 yards in this game. I'm just happy the offense performed as well as they did. Am I being too much of a homer to say Kraft is the best tight end in the league? We talked about this a little bit at the onset. I think Trey McBride, George Kittle, amongst others. Who does PFF have as their I'm just curious who their top tight end is. So they have Mitchell Evans, which is probably due to blocking, would be my guess. Actually, no, it is receiving. Sam Laporta is one of Trey McBride's up there. Dalton Kincaid is up there. Travis Kelce, Kyle Pitts, Tucker Kraft was at 13 coming into this week. Tyler Warren's having a hell of a year for Indianapolis as well. I think Oronde Gadsden for the Chargers too has been off to a ridiculous start. I think you can make an argument for guys like Trey McBride, Sam Laporta, whomever, but Tucker Kraft is clearly in that conversation. And as I mentioned earlier, there's no tight end I don't think I would rather have on this team than Tucker Kraft. Even if he's the second, third, fourth, but I don't really care. That's the tight end I want on this team. He's freaking awesome, and I love every second of it. Thought that was Savion Williams' best game. Maybe. I mean, he had one carry for 1 yard and one catch for 8 yards. I know it was a touchdown on the play. And then his kick returns, he averaged only 24.3 yards per return. I don't know. He had a touchdown, but I didn't think outside of that it was anything to outside of the one catch for 8 yards and the touchdown where it was well blocked up. I didn't think Savion really did anything too special in this game, if I'm being honest. CW and Heath are honestly the hype men Green Bay needs. They both were really great in blocking today. And I thought this was Heath's best game of the season so far. A couple catches and then a couple really, really good blocks. Micah Parsons on Jordan Love. He's the successor. He's the up and comer. So proud of him. Yeah, he's been the man. No question about it. Why isn't Matt in his bag every drive? Go Pack, go. Yeah. I thought the first half was a little bit too vanilla. I think just saying play calling is a bit of a cop-out. I do like, are you saying that every play that's successful is an amazing play call? And like every play call that's not successful is successful as a dumb play call? It just feels like we're basing play calling on the result of the play. Did the play work? Nope. Stupid play call. Did the play work? Yep. Great play call. It's not that simple. It's really not that simple. Matt's really, really good at this overall. He really, really is. Guys, they've scored under 27 points once all season. They put up now 35 in this game, 40 against Dallas. Their offense is really, really freaking good. Matt's a good play caller overall. Does he overthink it at times? Yes. Does he get a little bit too vanilla at times? Yes. But it does really feel like we are basing, was it a good play call on whether or not it was successful? There have been a lot of play calls this season that have been good play calls that have not gone anywhere or done anything. And there's been a lot of bad play calls. The 4th and 2 last week, Matt was the first one to tell you that's not the play call we want in that situation. Thankfully, Tucker Kraft and Jordan Love are able to find a way to convert on it, even though that's not the look that we want for that particular play. But it looks like a great play call because they ultimately are able to kind of convert on it, right? So, I don't know. I think we're, again, a little bit basing it too much on the result of the play and not the actual play call itself. It feels like a little bit of a cop-out, but I don't know. Can it be better at times? No question about it. No question about it. And I think Matt would probably be the first person to tell you that. I felt like we saw how important Watson is to this offense tonight. So stoked we got him extended for cheap. Yeah, I tweeted that out as well today. That 1-year extension looks genius. I can't get over how good he looked coming off of an ACL and MCL injury. When everyone on the team was kind of like smirking and saying like, he looks really good. Yeah, I get it now. He looks like he hasn't missed a freaking beat. I mean, I don't know how you can look that smooth and that confident and that just impressive coming off a torn ACL and MCL. I mean, just mentally, it has to be like just taxing just to like cut on it and be like, is it gonna snap? And he just looked unbelievable. Really, really impressive from him. And yes, that 1-year extension looks very genius at the moment from Brian Gutekunst and friends. Hope Love gets the respect he deserves. What a stud. Right there with you. Right there with you. Yes, we do love Tucker Kraft. And thank you all. Thank you for the 1,900 plus of you who are here in the chat. Thank you for all the super chats. You guys are amazing. Thank you for supporting the channel, my work, everyone that, is part of Pack a Day. We cannot thank you enough. These are fun moments. These are fun games. It's really enjoyable to get to do this, but I really do appreciate the platform. And thank you so much for making Pack a Day part of your routine, whether that's daily, whether that's in post-game shows, whatever that may be. Just thanks for being here and thanks for all the support. Micah playing as a stand-up linebacker really messed with Rodgers. It was really interesting. Mike Wall and I talked about this a little bit. of, for the most part this season, when Micah's been anywhere besides edge, it's kind of been doing the opposing offense a favor, just because he's been such a terror off the edge. And when he's standing up, you're usually like twisting or stunting, and it just takes a little extra beats to kind of be able to do what you want to do. So again, it almost is giving the offense a little bit of an inherent advantage there. Rodgers it was like he was spooked every time Micah was standing up, that when he got to center and saw Micah standing there, it's like, oh, no, no, no. And then just wanted to be like, all right, get rid of the ball. Micah's coming. And yeah, whatever it was, it worked. And Aaron wanted nothing to do with it whatsoever. I don't know if he didn't trust the line to be able to pick up whatever Micah was doing over center, but it was probably happenstance more than anything. But it did not seem like he was comfortable when Micah was standing up over center. That's for sure. Andy, love you, man. We did it. Good game. Just saying CV was good. And yes, Rodgers, no INT, or no intentional grounding, but we got away with that one call, so it evens out. I mean, we got away with the offsides. They got away with their offsides too. I thought there were a couple things in this game that certainly could have been better from an officiating standpoint, but it certainly didn't feel like to me the officiating decided the game in this one. Green Bay was the better team. Green Bay got the win, and that's all you can ask for. But some bizarro missed calls in this game, to say the least. And yes, thank you for bringing up CV as well. Thought CV overall had a nice game, a couple rough plays maybe towards the end there, but I thought overall a good game from him. And I think smart overall by Green Bay. I mean, talk about like a pure benching of Nate Hobbs, though. I mean, I don't think he even got in on any nickel snaps in this game. If he did play, it was maybe a couple snaps here or there. I mean, he got flat out benched. And I thought it was the right call. I thought CV played well in this game, and I think they need to do a little bit more of that moving forward. Fenrir, I think it's a bit harsh that too many fans are focused on the first half. Yes, it was a disaster, but here's the thing. The Packers learned and grew, and if it takes getting clocked to wake up, so be it. I think, Fenrir, I don't disagree with what you're saying. I think you have to look at a game from a total point of view. That you have to look at everything from beginning to end, and how did the team play overall, I think is the most important thing to look at. I will say this. I think Matt Schneidman tweeted out that over the last 3 games, the Packers have averaged 7.7 points in the first half. That's not good enough. Like, you have to come out better, and you have to come out confident in playing those games. You right now might be able to come back against Arizona or Pittsburgh in the second half. If you crap the bed in the first half in the playoffs, it's going to kill you. Like, you're going to get beat that way. So I'm not saying that we shouldn't celebrate this win or celebrate the second half or look at this game in its full view, because we should. And that's what's most important here. But I know for me personally, I care about wins and losses, but what I'm constantly looking at personally as this team plays throughout the season are, what are their strengths? What are their weaknesses? And when I'm looking at those weaknesses, I'm looking at what can get them beat in the playoffs. And if you consistently put up 7 points in the first half and no show first halves of games, and you do that in the playoffs, good luck. It's going to be a really harsh reality for you come playoff time. So that they have to figure out a way to get that cleaned up. And then the run blocking and the cornerback play also need to be better for this team. So those are the things that I can celebrate a win no matter what. We talked about it after the 9-point win, I don't care what the final score is of the game. Just get the win, and I'm cool with that. And this is a really cool win in Pittsburgh. First time since 1970 against Aaron Rodgers. A lot of big time performances, 10-point win. And even the 6 points at the end was complete garbage time football at that point. So lots to celebrate in this one. I can still look at it analytically and say, first half performances, offensive line run blocking, and cornerback play still need to get better if you want to make that run towards the Super Bowl. Well, right. So we can multitask in wins and in losses and say, hey, there was some really good stuff. There's still some things that this team needs to clean up, but also celebrating a really cool win in Pittsburgh on this particular day. Kenny Pate becoming a brand new member. Thank you so much, Kenny. Appreciate that. Hooray, a decades-long curse is over. Packers win. Go, Pack, go. You love to see it, John. You love to see it. Thank you for the super chat. Golden had the touchdown. If Love saw him, he's efforting. Gotcha. Tucker, his production, especially yards after catch and blocking, is the best tight end. Great post game. Stay awesome. Appreciate you, my friend. And yes, there was that opportunity to hit Golden there. One of Love's only, kind of misses in this game. He got immediately pressured. Not sure what he was kind of thinking on the lofted ball. I think it was just kind of a throwaway in that situation. But yes, if you would have read it maybe a little bit differently and saw Golden, would have had another touchdown on that play for sure. Finally, our offense was exciting to watch. It's probably a little bit harsh. I think again, you're putting up 27 a lot in this league. It's a pretty good performance overall. You had 40 against Dallas. I think the offense has been pretty dang good all season long, but in the second half, they were on fire today. No question about it. Along with that, no intentional grounding call. The PI call against Nixon needs to be looked at. Underthrowing a wide receiver shouldn't get you a PI. Go Pack, go. Yeah, I don't think anyone likes that situation and that call in that situation, if we're being honest. I don't know how you correct it. If like you can't say if it's like underthrown, we're never going to call PI. That doesn't feel right. So I'm not sure what you do about that. It's just, I think maybe one of those necessary evils of the game to some extent. But I don't think, even if it's Green Bay that's getting that call, again, I don't think any of us really like it, but it's one of those things that it is what it is. And when it happens, you just kind of have to roll your eyes and just be like, God, yeah, that sucks. If there's a way to fix it, I'm all for it, but it does feel like a bailout in that scenario. Yeah, not a great game for DK Metcalf, that's for sure. Had more bad than good, it felt like, in this game. Wilson and CV stepped up big time. O-line did great versus TJ Watt. Yeah, Zach Tom thought big time performance from him. And really Rasheed Walker too. The pass blocking in general, I thought was pretty phenomenal in this game. Did the Steelers have a sack in this game? They did not. They didn't have a single sack, despite Jordan Love dropping back 37 times to throw against a defensive line that has TJ Watt, Nick Herbig, who's been phenomenal this season, Alex Highsmith, Derek Harmon, their first round pick, Cam Hayward. That's a really, really good defensive line, and throwing 37 times and not getting sacked a single time. I thought as rough as the run blocking was at times in this game, I thought the pass blocking was pretty freaking awesome. All right. Give me 1 second here. Sorry for the wait. Thought I had this up and running, but apparently I did not. We get to celebrate today for a couple of reasons. Not only the win, but we had the win in Sleeper today as well. Josh Jacobs, touchdown, Aaron Rodgers, more than 215.5 yards. I needed that last Aaron Rodgers drive. I didn't hope for that Aaron Rodgers drive, I'll be honest with you, but I needed that final Aaron Rodgers drive to pick up the win. We got the win. So win on Sleeper today. And here's the big thing, right? You can get a 100% match up to $100 using code Packaday over on Sleeper, and you can pick up wins just like this one today. You can also get a free entry up to $20 with no deposit required. There's that promo that's available right now as well. They got other promos running. Check Sleeper for details. Terms and conditions apply. Available in over 25 states. We'll have another Monday Night Football one for Monday Night Football, and of course Thursday Night Football coming up this week as well. So keep an eye out for the Sleeper picks this week. But we get to celebrate a Sleeper win today with Josh Jacobs and Aaron Rodgers as well. Kudos and shout out to Sleeper for sponsoring today's show. Appreciate you guys a ton. All right, let's get back to our questions here. Don't need that. There we go. All right. Packer Peter. I don't know what denomination of money that is, but thank you so much for the super chat. Either way, Cooper was a king in the crucial moments in the game. What a stud. Love your work, Andy. Greetings from Hungary. There we go. Yes, it's 5:20 a.m. here. Time to sleep. Go Pack, go. What a win. Let's go. Packer Peter, I will put my over under for what time I get to bed tonight, right around probably about 5:20 as well. Got a rewatch to do. Got tomorrow's podcast to do. We'll upload Camille's podcast here in a little bit, so keep an eye out for that. For her immediate gut reactions. The audio podcast should be up a little bit later as well. Got that to edit and upload. And then just a lot of other little things to do before we get to bed tonight. So I'm assuming around 5:20 is around my wake up or my bedtime tonight as well. But Packer Peter, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for the super chat, and glad you were able to enjoy the game in Hungary today. Hungary. Either way, I'm saying it, I'm sure, in a very Wisconsin way. Thank you all of you here for being here again. Appreciate you guys a ton. I probably got about 12 minutes left. So if you guys have any further questions, I'll try to get to some member questions in chat here. Well, this isn't a member one, but great to see CV get in the game. It really helped our corners. There's no chance they go back to Hobbs next week, is there? Never say never, but I would think that CV earned himself another start next week for sure. Watching in China, like Sunday Night Football because it's 8 a.m. to noon and have Monday mornings off. Andy, love that for you, my friend. That's awesome. Chris, thank you for the super chat. Just got back from the game. I'm on cloud 9. Go Pack Go. Packers fans traveled well. They really did. They really, really did. Cannot say enough about that. Those were really expensive tickets too, to go to those games. So shout out to all the Packer fans who went, checked out Pittsburgh, got the Go Pack Go chants going. I thought, again, anytime you can hear that on TV, it's a pretty epic job by the Packers fans. So shout out to you, Chris. Way to go. Way to get everyone fired up at the game. I still think it's McManus. I'm hoping that this was just an injury situation. Maybe it wasn't quite 100% yet. I'd be pretty stunned if they did anything besides McManus coming up this week, but we'll wait and see. We'll see what they do. Not sure if it has been asked, but what is your view on moving Gary for a defensive? No. I've talked about this in general, not specifically Rashawn Gary, who I have no interest in trading, especially after another big game today. This team has 6 draft picks next year's draft. They've got 6 plus a bunch of comp picks the following draft, and all 7 the following draft after that. You can trade up to 3 years of draft picks. If you need to go get a corner, you have plenty of draft capital to go get a corner. Figure out the draft stuff later. That's what you do. You're not trading away players that are really good on this team right now when you're trying to make a run towards the Super Bowl. You can trade away some of the future and trade away some of those draft picks. Go for it. Do it. I have no problem. If you want to go get a corner, another offensive lineman, another defensive tackle, by all means. You have a Super Bowl contending team right now. I have no desire whatsoever, not even an ounce, to trade away a good player on this football team. I'm not robbing Peter to pay Paul. I'll gladly trade away future draft picks if I need to, if the right deal is out there. I'm not trading away any talented players. You're too good of a team to do anything like that. Let's see. Fenrir, thank you so much again. Can you speak to what in the cheese are we going to do about special teams? You were saying about playoff fatalities. Got to be a big one, right? You're totally right, Fenrir. I wish I had an answer for you. I don't punt on very many questions, especially super chats, my friend. If I had an answer to it, I would look you in the eye and tell you it. It has been a decades-long issue in Green Bay with multiple special teams coordinators, with multiple emphases put on special teams. I don't know. I don't know if it's a curse thing. I don't know what it is, but it feels like it could be something that is catastrophic come playoff time again if they don't get it fixed. I hope they do. It's at times looked okay. It's just not acceptable. You're not playing special teams at an NFL level, and that's not okay. So they absolutely have to find a way to get that fixed. And I wish I had an answer for you. I really do, but I just don't. And when Aaron Nagler and I talked on our final pre-season chat of the year, he's like, yeah, you know what? This might be the special teams. And I said, Aaron, what are you thinking? This will be a terrible special teams, just like it is every year. And until they get to the end of the year and you show me that they were actually top 10 in special teams, and I'll say, look, they were a top 10 special teams unit, I will never believe in them. I'm sorry, I just won't. And I hope they can get it fixed. But until I see it, I will just simply not believe it. Up the irons, Andy. Now Rodgers will have to play for Minnesota next year to get a couple more chances to try and beat the Packers. Go Pack Go. Never say never in this league. Rodgers is certainly playing well enough to continue to play into next year. I know Pittsburgh, it sounds like they're already making inquiries to see if they can get him back next year, but we'll see what Aaron decides to do ultimately. And the one thing we know is he's usually not one to make a quick decision after the season, and we could get another drawn out situation with Aaron, but he's certainly playing at a high enough level to continue to play if he wants to continue to play. That's for sure. It's McManus. Haversick booting kicks through the end zone could have screwed us last week. And yes, it's insane to trade an edge rusher right now. McManus, to be fair, did have one go in the end zone this week as well to be brought out to the 35, which is just another special teams mistake in this game in what seems like a never ending list of special teams mistakes. Really enjoyed this quarterback duel. So much fun. Great game. Now, what would you think we'd get trading McManus versus trading the other guy? I honestly don't think there's, I mean, you're talking like conditional 7th round picks. So just keep the guy that you want. If some team wants to trade for the other one, so be it. But you're not letting that cloud your decision in any way, shape, or form. You're not getting any premium pick here. So yeah, if you have to cut Haversick for nothing, or you get a 7th for McManus, but you like McManus more, than just keep McManus. Keep whatever one you feel is better, and then just deal with the rest later. Why would you trade away Gary? Yeah, you just wouldn't. You just wouldn't do that. There's 0% chance. All right, guys and gals, I've got about a couple more minutes. If you guys want to get a couple more questions in here, I know I missed a bunch earlier, so my apologies for that. Let's see. Why you think Jacobs is struggling, but Wilson is finding success? I don't think that's a real thing on the whole. I think ultimately Wilson got a few better looks in the second half when the Pittsburgh defense was worn down a little bit more. I don't think Wilson did anything that made me go like, I thought there was the one, I think it was a reception, right? Where he broke like 2 or 3 tackles on the play. I could be wrong on that, but I thought it was a reception. But I thought in the run game, he just got some better opportunities with some actual holes where Jacobs just didn't get anything all year long. But I did talk about it earlier. It just does seem that maybe the Jacobs version of the run offense doesn't quite mesh completely with what LaFleur wants to do. I can't say that for certain. It feels like there's something just a little bit off there. But the biggest thing is just run blocking. Jacobs had no run blocking in this game whatsoever. I think it's a blowout win next week, Matthew. Hopefully you're right. Never take anything for granted in this league. Carolina is going to be fighting for their lives in that game. Like, this is probably it for them. This is a really tough NFC, right? And they're already now, I think, they're 500. They're 4-4. They're 3-1 at home, 1-3 on the road. They're minus 38 in point differential. Got the snot kicked out of them today. But this is kind of their season. If they go out and win this game against Green Bay, they go to 5-4. They get a big win on the road, and their season is alive. They lose, and it probably is kind of just trending in that direction, right? 2 consecutive losses, and you kind of know where it's going to go. So they're going to be hungry in this one. They're going to do everything to bounce back from a really brutal loss to Buffalo. So you can never take anything for granted, but Green Bay should win that game, hopefully easily. Did you think this was the first game that Green Bay had more gas than the other team? They were winded and we weren't. Felt that way a little bit, for sure. I think a lot of it was just better execution in the second half, to be honest. But, maybe Steelers had a little bit of wear at the end. I think they were very similar in plays in this one. It was 63 for Green Bay, 57 for Pittsburgh. So pretty similar overall. Thanks, Andy. Get that victory pizza in the oven tomorrow. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's run it back on Carolina. Enjoy tonight, guys. Thank you, Pokey. Appreciate that. Loved Valentine tonight. Yeah, good game from him. Let's see. I was thinking today that the Packers don't tend to blow their opponents out. This was basically a blowout, save for a garbage time touchdown and 2 missed field goals. Yeah, I think so too, Steely Phil. And I think Detroit and Washington were really kind of the same way as well, especially that Detroit game, which had the late touchdown at the end. And sometimes that's going to happen, right? You give up some garbage time points, but overall, Green Bay was really, really good in the second half in this one. And again, very deserving of the 16-point lead they had at the end of that game. Tucker Kraft is the best Packers tight end I've seen. I'm 18. How high is he among Packers tight ends of all time, in your opinion? I'll go off of just tight ends in my lifetime, because I think that's always what I can speak a little bit more educatedly on. Mark Chmura, Keith Jackson, Jermichael Finley. I know Bubba made a Pro Bowl, but I don't put Bubba in that category, even though he's a good, solid tight end. You had some fun ones in there. Robert Tonyan, Donald Lee were some fun tight ends. But yeah, I think if Kraft keeps this up, he'll be the best tight end of my lifetime. I think Finley, if he doesn't get hurt, maybe has a statement or an opportunity there too. But yeah, I would probably say that Kraft is on the trajectory for being the best tight end of my lifetime in Green Bay. Were you surprised they started 24? I thought they would give Hobbs more chances. Yeah, I was pretty, I thought maybe a rotation, but I was pretty stunned, or not stunned because I thought it was deserved, but I'm just surprised because the Packers usually don't do that. Just a flat out benching of Hobbs, and didn't really give him any opportunity in this game. Yeah, Jared Cook was good for the season, but I thought overall it just wasn't a long enough tenure to be in that conversation. NFL is normally driven by turnovers. Are you surprised that the Packers are 5-1-1 while only forcing 3 real turnovers? 4th was a Hail Mary interception at the end of the first half. Yeah, again, I think it's another great reason, an example why there's a lot more on the table for this team. A lot more opportunities to get turnovers, opportunity to run the football better, play better special teams, hopefully play a little bit better at corner as well. I think there's a lot still out there for this team. Yeah, Jimmy Graham definitely did not pan out. It was great to see Love still taking shots on the last drive. You think Matt LaFleur changed his approach from past games? Let's see. Let's see what this ultimately looks like moving forward. I do think he's been a bit more aggressive. Still felt like the first half was a little bit, but it did feel like the second half was more aggressive for sure. Yes, over Martellus Bennett. Wish we would have kept Cook instead of signing. Yeah, that would have been a nice thing to do. That was a big miss for Green Bay in that situation. Does Rodgers have anger issues? Feels like every close up after a play, he's screaming at someone. Listen, in order to play at that level, you've got to be wired a certain way. The dude's ultra competitive. I think there's probably different ways to handle situations like that. I also don't know what it's like to win 4 MVPs and be quarterback for 2 decades in the NFL. So, yeah, I think he sometimes wears his emotions on his sleeve. I think he demands perfection of himself. And because he demands perfection of himself, he wants perfection from the players around him as well. When he doesn't get it, I think he gets a little bit pissed off, for better or worse. Again, I think there's probably some better ways to handle that. But again, I haven't walked a day in his shoes, so it'd be tough for me to say overall. Yeah, not a good play by Nixon. Not a good half by Nixon for sure. You think they mentioned the whole 27 conspiracy enough to cancel the jinx yet? Maybe. My blood was boiling after the second McManus miss, but hey, now I'm as chill as Bob Marley. Good, Tulio. Glad to hear it. All right, friends. I think Quay Walker has grown up a lot. Rookie Quay gets kicked out of that game every time. Landon, I think you're totally right. I thought him just taking the poke to the eye and the face mask and just being like, yeah, cool, whatever, man. Chill, just totally chill. And letting DK get that penalty. Yeah, I thought Pittsburgh was a little bit immature in that second half. Had some really dumb penalties. Green Bay didn't look like the youngest team in the NFL in that game. Pittsburgh did, with some of the stupid penalties that they had. So it was a good sign, and I thought some real growth from Quay Walker there as well. All right, last one. How do you see the wide receiver room shaking out when everyone comes back healthy? I love Golden, but do not see him getting a lot of targets, with Reed, Watson, and Dobbs being the clear starters. I think you're going to see a pretty strong 4-man rotation of Reed, Watson, Dobbs, and Golden. And then I think you'll see a little bit of Wicks, a little bit of Savion Williams kind of sprinkled in there as well, would be my guess. But we'll see. We'll see how it ultimately goes. All right, friends, thank you so much for being here. You're all the absolute best. I appreciate you so freaking much. Still 1,650 people plus here in chat. Shout out to Luigi's and to Sleeper for sponsoring today's show. I'll be back tomorrow morning, breaking down everything after I rewatch the game, go through my notes, and check everything in great detail to bring you everything you need to know from this game. So even if you checked out the post-game show, make sure to check out tomorrow's podcast as well. That'll be on all audio channels as well as over on YouTube. Mike Wall and I will be live at noon tomorrow. That should be a great chat with Mike. And then a normal slate of guests all throughout this week as we get set for the Carolina Panthers coming up at home noon on Sunday. I'll see you guys all really, really soon. Enjoy your Victory Monday. And until next time, and as always, go Pack Go.